Are we filming? Yes, we are. So welcome to another video. I'm going to talk about a few changes I have made to my EDC, my everyday carry. I carry this with me every day. I open it and refer to it and add to it and remove stuff from it 20 or 30 times a day. It's in my pocket all the time. That I have other Filofaxes and other binders for other uses, but this is what I'm currently using as my EDC. It's a Filofax Portland. It is de-ringed by accident because the Filofax rings collapsed on me, and so, as you probably are aware, I use treasury tags, and it's working very well. Let me tell you the things that haven't changed, things I'm very, very pleased with. I love my Me Plus card holder. I currently have 2 cards in here, although it can accommodate up to 4, as I understand it. I have 3 cards at the back. I have some money in the back pocket here, and everything's working really, really well. I like to, because I'm using this Tom Studio loop attached to my Tom Studio Lumos. What a fantastic pen in brass. I love it, and I basically use Noodler's ink in here, which chemically bonds to the paper. So if I fall into the river or a lake, as I nearly did the other day when I was out camping in the mountains of Wales. Well, actually a reservoir, but that's another story. Had I fallen in, I would have been reassured that my jottings, the words on the paper would still exist because they wouldn't run, they wouldn't disappear. So this is a really, really good thing. And although this is the pen I carry in here, typically I might use another pen in here. I might use my Tom Studio Ren, but if I'm indoors, I tend to reach for a Pilot G2. I'm trying to get into the habit of not using it too much. But I do find myself using this because it's just so nice. The 1mm broad tip, fantastic thing. Probably the best rollerball I've ever had. I love it so much that I fit a modified version of the Pilot G2 in these Kaweco Sport pens, because it's just nice, and you can have a clip, and I have one of these in my bag. So I carry more than one, but what as you're probably aware, I don't carry this yet. This is my Lilliput, which is my favorite EDC pen in terms of handling, but at the moment I have some Kaweco ink in here, which is not permanent ink. It's very, very washable, to the extent that had I fallen in the reservoir, the ink would have completely disappeared. You wouldn't have been able to read it. It wouldn't be faded. It would just disappear. So at some point, I'm going to change the ink by either using a converter or just inject the ink into a used cartridge and do that. So this was my favorite. It is my favorite EDC pen, but it wasn't the most practical, even though it fits in here very, very nicely because the clip fits over the back pocket. Once I realised that a good way of retaining my EDC pen would be literally to dangle it off one of the treasury tags, I thought, why not? A perfect solution from a point of view of reliability. I'm pretty sure that is an airtight fit. So if I had have fallen into the reservoir, this pen would have worked. But I don't know. I don't want to test it because it was very, very deep and cold and dark. Anyway, I digress. So what have I done here? What have I done to my EDC? There is a fundamental change here, a fundamental change, and it's this. I have, up until a few days ago, I've been using in here a rolling 12-month diary, a Filofax week on 2 pages, which has worked really well. Week on 2 pages means that this, excuse me, to have a rolling week on 2 pages, a 12-month supply, you're looking at 26 pages. And in reality, it's about 30 pages because you need a bit of an overlap, just a little bit of an overlap. And I have been using that, and it's worked very, very well. I do like this new, not so new nowadays, but it is fountain pen friendly paper. Generally, depending on the pen, although if you use a wet pen like this TWSBI Go, even though this has a fine nib, it is this paper is not so good. There's a lot of bleed through. Whereas if you use something like a Tom Studio Ren, there's no bleed through at all. There's a little bit of shadow with a Pilot G2 because this is such a bold ink on the page, but it's doable. But there is some either shadow or bleed through using this Filofax paper, but I can live with it. Because this isn't a journal, it's a temporary thing. It's a temporary type of paper. It only lasts for 12 months, doesn't it? And then you bin it or file it away, archive it. But it's been pretty good. So why have I taken this pack of around about 30 sheets of 80 GSM paper? So you can see that it is probably about 0.5 centimetre thickness, and it would fit in here. I've currently got 70 sheets of you know what I'm going to say. I feel like a Clairefontaine salesman, but Clairefontaine smart paper. I don't know why it's called smart paper. I don't know. Perhaps you can tell me. I need to find out from Clairefontaine themselves, don't I? I'll send them an email and find out. But 50 GSM paper, it's very, very nice to use, particularly with a rollerball. There is bleed through, even more than the Filofax paper. But it's very good for scrunching up. I scrunch up my paper so that it's easier to thumb through. I've done a whole video about the benefits of scrunching up paper. But anyway, this has now been removed. So do I still have a diary in here, other than this 70 sheets of lovely Clairefontaine 50 GSM paper? Yes, I do. But it's this, and this might shock you. It is a single sheet of the aforementioned Clairefontaine paper, and I've got things written down on here, so I don't want to open it too much. But basically, I fold it into 8, so each of these represents an A7 sheet, and it will go into the left-hand side of the back pocket, and on the right-hand side, I fold my paper money into half, and then fold it in half, and then fit it in here. I've never done that. In 50 years of carrying a wallet, I've never folded paper money into half, but it works really, really well, actually, because it means that when you if you have anything like notes, or in this case, my diary, on the left-hand side, you're not dragging out the money. But it's a single sheet of A4, So what will that give you? Well, there's 8 sections on each side. So that gives you a fortnight, 2 weeks. 2 weeks of diary. And crucially, and this is the reason I've done this, this is a week on 2 pages. So on one side you have 4 days, and on the other side you have 3 days plus some notes. So this gives you 4 times the space. And why do I need 4 times the space? Is because just winding things back a bit. Back in March, I was really ill. My doctor or physician predicted that I might be in hospital for months, and my fear was that I might have to, I might not make any more videos again, But I did make a very good recovery, and I'm making good progress. I've got to go in for checkups all the time. I still have some ongoing issues that I will have for life, but right now, I'm feeling good health-wise. Thank you, by the way. I've had many comments from you kind people wishing me well, and I am sure that has helped. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. But the consequence of feeling better is that I'm filling my life with more things to do. I'm taking more of an active role in society in general, spending more time with friends and family, but I have and I'm not going to publicize it here because I'm not trying to plug another channel, but I have started another channel for my sins, which is taking up a fair bit of my time, and I'm retired, but I'm working, making these videos. It's something that I absolutely love doing. I always remember, and I'm just digressing here, forgive me for that. I remember when I was 11, I got for Christmas a cassette recorder. Remember them? And I got a splicing kit within days of getting a cassette tape recorder, a Philips cassette tape recorder, which was Philips invented the audio cassette. And within days, I bought myself a splicing kit with razor blades and tape, and so I was editing tapes by literally cutting and splicing, as we used to do back in the day. And then when I could afford it as a teenager, I experimented with Super 8 film, but the limitation to actual celluloid film was cost. It was cost. And here we are in the 21st century where there is, if you want, no cost at all. You can make almost near broadcast quality videos with a phone, with a smartphone. Incredible. And you don't even need to spend any money on cameras, because if you have a smartphone already, then that is your tool. You can use it for filming, you can use it crucially for editing. The sound quality is pretty good, as long as you're indoors and there's no winds to worry about. And that has been a passion of mine ever since 4 years ago, when we were all in lockdown with COVID, and that hobby has become a significant part of my life now. I absolutely love doing this. But anyway, let's get back to the EDC. So I have, there we go, this single sheet, which gives me 4 times the amount of space per day. And it was a considered thing for me, but I need more space. It's no longer possible to have everything. I can't use a mini week on 2 pages. I can't do it. If I did, I would have to put it in a separate personal size binder, and that would work. That would work just about. But I'm not always going to be carrying something like this. And I'm certainly not going to be carrying A5. A5 data a page would be fantastic. If you're indoors, fine. But the thing about an EDC is that you, personally, I think I need some sort of diary. A fortnight is okay, because I also replicate things in digital. For me personally, what works for me is not Google, Apple's calendar app works well because I'm an Apple fanboy. Desktop, iPad, no, not iPad, desktop, iPhone and laptop, they're all Apple. So you can add something to your phone and it appears on your other devices, or add something on your desktop and it appears on my iPhone. So it's a great system, very, very useful. But I do like the color coding. So all my medical appointments, of which there are many, they're all in blue, for instance. Other appointments are in red. Things I have to attend to fairly soon ish are in amber. And then ones that are just memos that don't have a specific time imperative, they're in green. So I love that. I love that from a point of view of efficiency. But why do I have a paper-based diary at all? Well, if you're anywhere other than in your home, there is a risk that you will be robbed of your phone. And if you are paying attention to, your phone, looking at your appointments on your Google's calendar app, it could, you could be a victim of a robbery, and that would be a bad day. So it's, you can't do that. And of course, the obvious one the obvious reason for using a notebook or paper-based diary is there's no battery to worry about. But I have thought about this. I've obviously thought about it, and I've been experimenting with this system for a little while now. And I have that over those last maybe the last fortnight, there's only been 2 occasions where I've had to look further than a fortnight at what I'm doing. Other than some medical appointments, but I'm not looking at those specifically. I'm just jotting them down. So, do I have a system? Do I have a system that encompasses digital and analog? Yes. And what it is I add religiously. If someone says, right, your appointment is 20th of October. Oh, right, okay. So I will just jot it down here in my to-do grids. And then what I will do is at some point, my earliest convenience, I will write it down in my digital diary. But I will also write it on here because I have a whole stash of these in the filing cabinet, all written out like this, hand drawn. So they're ready. So I do have a rolling 12-month diary, but it's in the form of these sheets in my filing cabinet at home. I don't need to take them with me. And once this is out of date, then I put this in my archive in my filing cabinet and because it's always nice to refer back and look at what you have done But I take the next fortnight sheet out and put it in my EDC. And if you're wondering what happens if you're on the last Friday of the fortnight here, well, it's a case of carrying two of these. In reality, it's carrying two of these. So you alternate between having a month's worth on two sheets to a fortnight's worth on one sheet. So there's always, you always need a bit of an overlap, but it's no great shakes. It's not an imposition to have two sheets of A4. In fact, what I do is this is the two current. This is week 1 and week 2, moving on from today, and then in here I've got the sheet A3 week 3 and week 4 in here in this inner pocket. So that's how I do it. Two sheets of A4, and that's working very, very well. Especially if I change an appointment. Medical appointments we go through a bit of a crisis with the National Health Service in the UK. It's still free, largely free at the point of need, but it's a bit chaotic at the moment. We're having we've just gone through yet another junior doctor strike. The nurses are now balloting for strike action. We've had a whole series of strikes, and the delays for treatment, non-urgent medical treatment, are at a record. Just to digress here, certainly here in Wales, where I live, as you would have thought that maybe at any given moment 5% of people, 5% of the population would be on some sort of medical waiting list for some sort of treatment. Here in Wales, just over 50% of the entire population of Wales are waiting for some sort of medical treatment. Just unreal, isn't it? It's been a real crisis. With respect to my EDC, and in particular my diary, that means that hospital appointments, doctor's appointments, are often cancelled or rescheduled. So over the last fortnight, I have had 3 hospital appointments that have been cancelled. One, there's been no word of when it's being rescheduled. One has been postponed till next year, and one has been rescheduled for next month. So it is in chaos at the moment. But we're hanging in there. We're hanging there, and it is free to the point of need, which is something that we're very lucky here in the UK that we're not on a medical insurance regime like in the States, for instance. But anyway, that is what I'm using as my diary. That's what I'm using as my diary. So what have I been able to do, having slimmed down my diary from this to 2 sheets of A4? Well, I've got at the moment 70, I think it's 68, but who's counting, sheets of this Clairefontaine paper that I love so much. I'll leave a link in the description. It's a little bit more difficult to get hold of at the right price in the US. I understand that. So one of my channel members tells me, but here the trick is, when you're looking at it from Amazon, it varies in price between £6 and about £12. So what I do is I buy it when it's cheap, but the price fluctuates enormously. But it's good stuff, and it's cheap at £7. So buying a pack of this. This is a ream, so 500 sheets. It's quite a thin ream because it's only 50 GSM, which is its advantage. But that's £7 for, if you cut this up into A7, this size, that's 4,000, isn't it? It's 4,000 pieces of paper, 4,000 sheets, which is a lot of to-dos or notes, or indeed a diary, for £7. But a quick bit of maths suggests that to have 4,000 sheets of very nice, nevertheless nice cut and hole punched paper from Filofax, to have 4,000 sheets of this would be would be about £800. So a big difference. Obviously, if you're a hotshot lawyer in the States and you're earning $1,000 an hour, then it's a no-brainer. Go for the Filofax paper, which is pre-punched, pre-cut, and it'd be a lovely thing to use. But if you're not a hotshot lawyer and you're earning considerably less than $1,000 an hour, then this is possibly the way to go. Certainly for me, because I don't earn $1,000 an hour. But the other thing I like is the fact that I scrunch my paper up. So I do this and then unfold it, and it has this innate quality of being able to easily open the pages at the right spot. So I like that. I like the sort of non-conformity. I like the look of it. But it's only a superfluous reason, a side issue. But this Filofax paper doesn't scrunch nicely. It doesn't, and I have tried. It's not so tactile, and it gives the illusion that it's different. It definitely feels different. So I like the fact that this has nothing but this wonderful Clairefontaine 50 GSM paper in it. So it just gives it a nice sort of it's hard to explain, and perhaps it's a bit unusual to scrunch paper up, but it works for me. I've done a video on the scrunching of the paper and why I do it and how I feel about it. But this feels nice in the pocket, which is just as well, because if you're carrying something, if you're opening it, whether it's something that goes in your pocket or in your bag or your jacket, if you're using it as an EDC, if you're carrying it every day, and you're effectively opening and flicking through the pages several times a day, then you want it to feel nice. You want it to have the right consistency. You want it to be therapeutic, almost. You want to maybe have. You want to maybe. I'm being distracted. I've just got to turn off my blood sugar alarm. Hold on. So I think what I'll do is I'll wrap it up. The essential changes are that I have discounted using. I gave it my best shot. But I am now so busy, or busier, that a week on 2 pages is no longer sufficient for my needs, even though it's a good system if you're using a mini EDC. But for me, I have basically gone to a series of notes, and if I have any appointments, of which there are many at the moment, I'm using a series of folded A4 sheets, each one representing a week, and I have 2 of these in here, between 1 and 2 depending on where I am in the timeline moving down the sheet, and I'm very, very satisfied with it. I think it's I definitely think that the treasury tags work very, very well, and it is such a joy to just go to the other end of the Filofax, unthread these, which I'll do once a week, add a whole stash of paper, and then eventually this page, which is the most recent added, will end up at the very, very front, being used as a to do. Interestingly, why do I need so many pieces of paper? Well, I mix and match. I mean, if it's just a small thing, like I've got to cut the rhododendron bushes for my neighbour to do her a favour because she's quite old and she can't do it anymore. So I will add it here. There's no need for a whole page. But then there are other things like some videos, some short videos I've made for my forthcoming podcast, and I've started using one of these sheets because when I get to an hour's worth, then I will do the editing of that into an hour-long podcast, but I can keep a running total of the time so that I'm more able to keep these podcasts to a sort of standard, fairly uniform hour's length. And then the next one is, I've only done one video here, but this is a similar thing I make for my members, my channel members, who all pay me roughly £1 or the equivalent in their currency for a lot of exclusive material. If you look at my video page, my main page, you'll see that there's a lot of exclusive material just for channel members. So I do a similar thing. It's a coffee break. A channel member coffee break is like a podcast on steroids, if you like. Different stuff. And then what have I got? I've got 1 or 2 blank pages here. Don't know why, but then I've got let's see. Let's show you one that I can show you. Okay, so this video is entitled "Do You Keep Your Filofax at Home?" It's one that I'm going to be making. So I will use a whole page. I will use a whole page for a video idea, of which I have about 300 at the moment that I have in my mind, transferred them onto paper so I don't forget. But they will eventually be made. All sorts of really nerdy stuff, as well as Filofax reviews, that sort of thing, pens, ink, paper, the full gamut. So this one is using a single hole punch in the top left-hand corner of papers, and then add them together using a single treasury tag, and then add to a folder in my filing cabinet. Okay, so that's a very, very simple idea for one of the videos I want to make, but I've done the whole idea on one page. And it works very, very well doing that. And there's lots of things here that will end up either as notes to be ultimately stored in my filing cabinet, or indeed they might be transitory and dispose of. And when I dispose of them, I rip them out, put them through the office shredder, and so my security identity theft is minimal. But just out of interest, this shows you the bleed through. This is a wet pen. This is with my TWSBI Go with a just even a fine nib. This isn't good. This isn't good for this paper isn't good for bleed through of ink. But you will have noticed I'm only using these one-sided. Hence the reason why, it's another reason why I've dispensed with the diary, because there's just not enough room. You could put a diary and 70 sheets in there. It will work, because as you can imagine, with a treasury tag, there's no rings to break because you're overloading them, you're overstuffing the rings. You could have this. Even you could probably have twice as much paper in here as I have at the moment. It's not a problem at all. But it does allow me, it spares me the agony of bleed through. Space normally is such a premium when you're carrying a Filofax or some other binder. That space and cost. You wouldn't want to just get some blank Filofax paper and just use it one-sided, because it is the cost is enormous by 2 or 3 orders of magnitude. So you want to make the most of it. But this stuff is the cost of it is inconsequential, and using it in this format where I have 70 sheets here, I could have 150, to be honest. It will accommodate it. If you're doing that, if you want to overstuff things, then I recommend these 51mm. It's 2 inches. They're probably made on the same machinery. They're probably made in India somewhere. Let's have a look. Does it say? I'm just having a look. It should say, but it doesn't actually tell me the country of origin. But they're almost certainly made somewhere like India, on the same industrial machinery, probably made on the same machinery, the tooling that was shipped out to these countries when Britain lost its manufacturing base in the 40s and 50s, immediate post-war period, to save money on labour rates. But 51mm is 2 inches, and that is the sweet spot. They come in all sorts of different sizes, as is 25, 50. There we go. You can see it. 25, 51, 76, 102, 127, 152 millimeters. So they are all imperial equivalents, or metric equivalents to the standardized imperial original lengths. But 51mm or 2 inches, for this application, this works very, very well, and gives you that just the right amount of flexibility to really overstuff a binder like this if you really, really want to. But 70 sheets, it's enough for me. I suspect the most number of sheets I use in any particular day might be as little as 1, or maybe even none, but it might be as many as 20. So this gives me more than enough for a day or two of operation out and about. And in reality, it doesn't. There's never a moment where you think you're going to run out of paper, even though you're using, even though I'm using it more or less one-sided. But I have been agonising and trying to find the right combination of pen to this lovely paper, and all that has now been resolved through the simple expedient of writing one-sided. Cost is not a problem. I won't worry about the environmental impact of using twice so much paper, but that maybe is an issue. But in the grand scheme of things, I haven't flown for 35 years because I'm concerned about flying and the environmental impact. So a small amount of paper, well, I can live with that. My carbon footprint is lower than average. It's within the if you go online, I know this is a digression, but if you go online, just do carbon footprint calculator and then do your own, fill in all the details with your own stuff and see whether or not your carbon footprint is okay, or whether it's seriously bad for your direct descendants in the fullness of time. You'd be surprised at just how much you need to cut out to keep within sustainable limits. But this is an issue, but not too much of an issue. It's perhaps a luxury I have. I use this paper. One thing I would say though is well, no, I won't even go there because I'll be waffling too much, and I've got to do something about my blood sugar now. Right, I'll leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Until my next video, goodbye.